functions that the public should have the right to find out some of what's occurring. So I'm of the school of thought that says we do need to get them opened up. Yes, we do need to provide some restrictions on reporting in terms of not reporting the identities of the children. So there needs to be sufficient protection of the children, which is what the relevant legislation says, that it's supposed to be about protecting the children. But beyond that, I really don't see that we should be protecting malpractice from public scrutiny. Now that's deeply wrong, and that's got to stop. There's no jury, there's a judge or a magistrate, usually. That's the case. Now once things go to appeal, things become different, because the public are allowed to sit in on appeals as a normal right. So if people can sit in on appeals without the sky falling down, why can't they sit in on the original cases? It's a bit of a nonsense that the public shouldn't be allowed to sit in on normal children's and young people's cases, so long as we protect the children. I don't think we should be protecting people who lie, people who mislead the courts, or people whose decision making is faulty, or whose arguments are flawed. We shouldn't be concealing that. And the only way we can reveal that is properly, fully, is if the public are allowed to walk into the courts, and as long as they don't go and reveal the identity of the children in public, then we can expose what's happening, and we can hold the courts to a proper standard. And it's no good. Some of the judges have said, well, what about if we just release the judgments? But that's still not satisfactory, because it's still then the truth filtered through the perception of an individual judge, and people are still not in a position to assess, well, was that a wise judgment or not? Does that judgment properly reflect the evidence that was put before this judge? And the public need to be able to assess that. And we need to be proud of our public officials. We need to have a set of public officials about whom we can say, yeah, we are ruled by wise people. This was a really good judgment. And you do see that sometimes, and you feel proud of those judges. And if the public can see all the judgments, then all judges will be held to a proper standard, but so will all the witnesses, and especially the experts. I mean, that's the area of one of the biggest areas of concern, isn't it? The so-called expert evidence. A lot of the nonsense and the malpractice that's gone on should have been stopped years ago, but one of the most effective ways to stop it is to make the courts open to the general public. The other way is we need to reorganise child protection so that we have a proper national dedicated child protection service, and they don't do anything else. They don't get bought, they don't get influenced, they don't get played by crony networks or nepotism or any other form of corruption. They are responsible purely and solely for child protection. That's all they do. Get a proper professional service, properly trained, make sure they don't serve vested interests and they don't have conflicts of interest. They're just responsible to the children and nobody else. And I think if you do those two things, you've gone an enormous way to cleaning up what's a really bad mess at the moment, and has been.